Yo, what's going on, guys? And we're going to break down this ball game. If you guys weren't paying attention, well, the New York Knicks beat the Detroit Pistons. I want to hear your thoughts down below before we start today's video. Currently driving back from Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. And I want to think about what is the Knicks' potential if they do, win this series. What do you guys think? Now let's get right to it. The Detroit Pistons started this game actually really strong, but they faltered. And the New York Knicks were able to capitalize due to their defensive pressure, Karl-Anthony Towns, and just solid execution in the final moments of the game. So today, I think we need to talk about how the Pistons were able to go toe-to-toe and play against the New York Knicks, who are seen as the more formidable foe, which they are. And the Pistons, with Tobias Harris, who had 25 points, had a hot start, was hitting threes, but then the team really, in the second half, wasn't able to keep this momentum offensively that they were in the first half. And that's ultimately how the Knicks were able to get back into this game and win it. Cade Cunningham did his thing, 21 points, 12 assists, 6 rebounds. Showed flashes of brilliance in his playoff debut. But obviously, a little bit of an inefficient night. He was being dogged by those Knicks defenders. And his 6 turnovers didn't help the Detroit's offense. Jalen Brunson had 7 points and 6 rebounds. He was contained by the New York Knicks, which is crazy to think about. And he did have some moments on defense where he was able to be a presence, but he wasn't able to make a similar impact on offense or late in the game. Now, the Pistons were hurt by their turnovers. Collectively, they had 21 of them, which allowed the Knicks to score 25 points off those miscues. Detroit also struggled defensively, allowing the New York Knicks to rack up 62 points in the paint. Yeah, they were getting big bodied. And they failed to slow down the Knicks' late game surge. They just couldn't stop the barrage of points. And despite a solid performance from the consistent Malik Beasley, the Pistons, and I think this is just because of inexperience, and not saying that they're bad or anything, it's just clearly the Knicks have guys who've been in the playoffs before and a coach who's been in situations with this team. This is the first year with their coach and JB Bickerstaff. So in they were scoreless over the final 5 minutes in the final quarter, which is crazy. Now the Knicks demonstrated what they are. They mounted a 21-0 run in the fourth quarter to turn it to a 98-90 game, which bravo to them. And this allowed them to build up at 111-98 lead. And obviously, Jalen Brunson, 34 points and 8 assists. It's like he wasn't even hurt. He was the catalyst to this. He was shaking off an inefficient first half, going 4-15, to then dominating the fourth when they needed him. He's the clutch guy, and he was able to do it in the final stretch. And guess who helped him? Yeah, campaign, baby. 14 points, 3 of 5. Had some good shots. Helped the Knicks turn the tide. And, of course, we said it before even seeing his highlights, Karl-Anthony Towns. He made a strong playoff debut for the New York Knicks, showcasing his all-around game, improved defense, and his ability to rise in the playoffs, because historically he's been a guy who's disappeared for Minnesota. Now, his game anchored the New York Knicks defense and spearheaded the offensive schemes. While OG Anunoby is a guy I think who's been underrated all year. He actually had the most dunks this year for a non-big. 23.7 rebounds, 5 steals, and 2 blocks. He's a lockdown defender, looking like the guy that we always knew he could be. And Josh Hart, Swiss Army knife, go gadget, 13.7 rebounds, 6 assists. He's the emotional sleeve for this team with his hustle and his energy. And then defensively, Tom Thibodeau, you know what they do. New York are suffocating. They forced 21 turnovers, result 25 points off of those. We said that earlier. Their defense, Mikal Bridges, Anunoby, And all those guys that they have are just dogs. Guys that are going to consistently bother the opposing team's best players. And that to me is the craziest thing. And I know Mikal Bridges tonight, 8 points only. He's a guy that offensively won't be always consistent, but OG Anunoby, I think, is really taking a leap. Josh Hart is able to pick up the pieces. Deuce McBride, Landry Shamet, Mitch Robinson, all these guys have like depth and the ability to pick up the slack when needed. And they buy into the defensive philosophy regardless if they are quote unquote good defenders or not, as their defense was able to pair with their offense, having 7 players finishing in double figures and Mitchell Robinson going 6.6 rebounds and 2 blocks. So what do we got at point from this? Detroit needs to be able to replicate for an entire game their earlier dominance in shooting, 47.7% in the first half and 47% from 3. Yeah, obviously not that high of a 3-point shot, but like just have their guys hit the shots, because their ball movement was what kept them in the game with 23 assists. Now they can't turn the ball over, and they can't allow 62 points in the paint. They need to fix that. If not, the Knicks are just going to beat them down, demoralize them, and just big body them. For the Knicks, it's continue to attack them and make them feel small, take advantage of their inexperience, make sure that you capitalize on the fast breaks. Towns and Anunoby seem to be having their way with the Pistons, and the Knicks technically struggled to shoot from 3. Like, they shot 38%, but like there was moments where they like had stretches, but like it was a good shooting night regardless. It was like 53% from the field. So I think if you're looking ahead to this game 2, the Pistons are going to have to address first and foremost the turnover issues, and then they're going to have to find a way to stop them from scoring inside at will. And finally, they need to stop the Knicks from having these late game runs. I think this is something that the Knicks have done all season, and they are a really good getting a hot team, and then it just gets really hard to stop them. New York, on the other hand, they're going to just look to maintain what they did tonight, keep hanging their hats on defense and execution, stay with the same intensity as they aim to take a commanding 2-0 lead at home in Madison Square Garden. So I want to hear your thoughts down below. That's it from me, guys, but peace out.